The Birdcage is a queer comedy film from 1996 directed by Mike Nicholas and starring Robin Williams and Nathan Lane. In the film, Armand Robin Williams owns a South Beach drag club, and his flamboyant life partner and muse, Albert Nathan Lane, is the star of his show. Their son comes home to let them know that he is getting married to Barbara, the daughter of one of the most conservative families in America, the Keeleys. Later in the film, after the Keeleys get involved in a scandal that threatens to ruin Senator Keeley's career, they have to travel to South Beach, Florida, to visit the Goldmans in an attempt to cover up their story. Fearing ridicule and rejection from the Keeleys, their son Val forces his parents to alter themselves to pass as straight. This pushes them to adopt dominant ideologies in regards to gender, sexuality, and religion. This ultimately fails, and Albert saves the day by engaging with his queerness and accepting his role as Val's mother. The film concludes with both families in the Goldman's apartment surrounded by paparazzi wanting to break the story of the Keeleys and only needing a photo of him to do so. Rather than continuing with the previously mentioned dominant ideologies, the Keeleys must instead engage in drag culture to sleep away from the paparazzi. They do so all while singing to the song We Are Family. The film ultimately concludes with the wedding of Val and Barbara. Part 1. Dominant ideologies, color, and clothing. The characters in the film are simply iconic. Many portray multifaceted, complex queer characters, and all of them have a unique sense of fashion and style. In The Birdcage, dominant ideologies, or lack thereof, is shown through color, with blues, grays, and browns representing conformity to the ideologies, and vibrant colors representing their rejection. The Keeleys are frequently shown in these colors, while the Goldman's color palette is much more diverse, often showcasing oranges, pinks, and golds. These ideologies are also represented in the types of clothing that is worn. Often the Keeleys wear clothing that is much more restrictive and formal, while the Goldmans wear clothing that is loose and flowing. The acceptance and rejection of these dominant ideologies are most apparent through the character of Albert. Before his transformation, Albert is shown in all kinds of colors and clothing styles. Notably, he often wears layers and clothing that is loose and flowing. The fluid nature of his clothing matches with the fluid nature of his gender. He's openly queer, and many times throughout the film he actually identifies as a woman. Moreover, his character aligns with common tropes for women in movies, like weeping, martyring, and drama queening. In the film, when Val asks him to become more straight-passing or not to attend the meeting with the Keeleys, Albert loses the vibrant colors he once wore, and instead wears a restrictive suit and tie. When the plan finally fails, Albert embraces his role as Val's mother and comes to the dinner dressed as a stereotypical woman in a pink suit and blonde wig. Interestingly, while Albert is engaging more truthfully with his own gender identity, he's still doing so in a way which continues to engage with the dominant ideologies that the Keeleys believe in. This ultimately fails again, and it turns out that the only way that the day can be saved is by having all of the Keeleys dress up in drag to escape from the paparazzi. The Goldman's butler, Agador, is another excellent example of trying and failing to lose one's true self in an attempt to adopt dominant narratives and ideologies. Agador is openly queer and a drag performer. He wears lots of colors and often wears small outfits which show off his body. When the Keeleys come for dinner, he is forced to become the Goldman's manservant and wear a suit which does not fit him. His failure to assimilate to these changes is reflected in how he is unable to properly wear the shoes that he is forced to wear. When wearing the shoes, he constantly falls because they simply don't fit. This is a representation of how the dominant ideologies that he is being forced to subscribe to don't align with him as a person. Interestingly, the Goldman's son, Val, despite being raised by Albert and Armand, almost never wears the same colors as them. Instead, he is dressed in the same blue-gray color palette as the Keeleys. This is an indication that Val has adopted the practices and dominant ideologies like hypermasculinity, rigid gender roles, and in some ways homophobia. The homophobia that he has towards his own parents is notable. Val wants his parents to adopt the dominant ideologies that he subscribes to, forcing them to lose the vibrant colors, patterns, and clothing that they love. Part 2. Relationships and representation. One of the most interesting aspects of this film is that it shows two long-term mature relationships, one straight and one queer. The Goldmans and Keeleys are foils of one another. The Keeleys are rigid, strict, and religious. This is seen in the limited and repetitive clothing styles that they wear. For example, Senator Keeley is shown primarily in full suits and business attire, while Mrs. Keeley is shown in skirts, dresses, and pinafores. The Goldmans are more accepting, fluid, and much more free. This is visible in the loose clothing that they wear, the diversity in color that they wear, and the different kinds of styles that they wear. Albert wears robes, drag costumes, 90s workout outfits, while Armand wears baseball hats, short shorts, muscle t-shirts, and casual suits. Interestingly, the compatibility of both couples is visible through the colors that they wear. Both the Keeleys and the Goldmans wear colors which align and complement one another. This helps show the strength of both respective relationships. The Birdcage is an iconic film. Not only does it show a fairly positive monogamous queer relationship, but it also questions dominant ideologies like hypermasculinity, gendered roles, and homophobia. And nowhere is this renunciation of these ideologies more apparent than in the film's fashion. Hi guys, I made that video a few months ago, and I did it for a class, and I thought it was cool, so I wanted to share it with you. Yeah, I hope you guys are doing well. Bye!